You know, there's a touch of tension in the air. And this now will confirm the plight of the bottom two. Wakefield's 2-point deduction for an infringement of the salary cap regulations means it's a desperate fight. But the Wildcats have their own destiny in their own hands. And Wakefield will survive even if this one ends in a draw. The Giants, and it really is a big match for them. This is the lineup. Hefin O'Hare plays at full-back. Frew, Gleeson, Jean and Langley the three-quarter line. Costin and Cousteau the half-back. The forwards, Stone, Rowley, Marshall, Atkins, Lomax and McNamara as the captain. And on the bench, Thorman, Malloy, Slicker and Moana. The coach is Tony Smith. Wakefield, they face adversity all the way through this season, and Neil Law is their fullback. Sovatabua, Brooker, Ellis, Westwood, Pearson and Brad Davis. Up front, O'Neill, March, Mason, Field, Price, the skipper on the field with Hudson at loose forward. And on the bench, Watini, coaching the club captain, Graham Law, and Ben Rorter, coach John Harbin. Well, it's a lovely summer's evening here at Bellevue, and Wakefield's appeal over that 2-point deduction for the breach of the salary cap means that if they win this, Huddersfield will stay bottom of the table and will be relegated. It's a question of two clubs here fighting for their Super League lives.
And that means pressure not only on the players but on this fella as well, Stuart Cummings. But he has all the experience. He will know that this will be a real tough encounter. John Harbin, the Wakefield coach, done so much for this club. It is 1 year to the day that he took over the reins as coach here, and I think he's done about every other job that is conceivably possible at this club. He really has worked so hard, and he'll be hoping for at least a draw today, Eddie.
Yes, John Harbin, coach of the month for April, when Wakefield were on a bit of a roll. But now they're 80 minutes away, and one of these teams will suffer at the end of this. Pearson gets the game in motion, a high hanging kickoff, and here we go. Game is on at Bellevue, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Whoever loses really knows that they're on the creaking trapdoor of relegation. First penalty goes Huddersfield's way. And Keith Mason is the young man pulled out, and it's a high tackle.
Well, it's set the scene, hasn't it? We knew it was going to be a tough one, and it was a high one as well. Swinging right arm. So much pressure on the players out there. They know that their existence perhaps is at stake.
Keith Mason, the man penalised, and Mason, of course, he was outstanding for Wales against England just recently. So Rowley to restart, just taps the ball and pops it inside to Troy Stone, gets it away, and this now is the big number 11 for Huddersfield, Lomax. Rowley at dummy half again, feeds it inside then to Marshall on the drive. He gets to his feet, Huddersfield 20 metres away, and this is Cousteau, stands in the tackle, eventually takes it on the chin, and Rowley is there again to scamper away from dummy half Paul Rowley. They've missed him over the past couple of weeks, he's been suspended. That's good play, and Lomax over the shoulder. They must be in here, and they are. What a start for Gleeson, what a start for Huddersfield. Just what the Giants wanted, just what Tony Smith, their coach, wanted. And Huddersfield know they've got to win here, win next week, and then hope. And that's a perfect start. Gleeson, his 6th try of the year.
Good play from the hooker, Paul Rowley, got them into that position, then had the sense to offload, and Troy Stone then whipped it out wide. Great work in the end. Jamie, well, Lomax involved here. You'll see the prop forward, then Lomax did well to get it off here, and Gleeson in for the try. All came about with the penalty that was brought about by the high tackle from Keith Mason, and Huddersfield have taken full advantage of it.
They have indeed, and what's more, that try has come before Wakefield have had the ball in hand. And it all came about from that early penalty from the high tackle by Keith Mason. This is McNamara now to try and add the extras, and McNamara looks like he's brought his shooting boots with him. What a start for the Giants. They're ahead by 6 points to 0.
Well, they kept the ball alive, and it's amazing in pressure games like this, your discipline has to be pretty solid. You have to make sure this is the high tackle. He did not miss, and from the resulting kick, this is what happened. Great work from the hooker, Paul Rowley. He has so much experience. The Wakefield defence just hung off, and you could see there that they couldn't slide quick enough. Gleeson had the speed.
Well, that's a high hanging kick-off. Troy Stone is underneath it, and they've got the ball back, but the knock-on will actually come against Troy Stone. Lost it.
Well, he half took it, and then he went forward. The mere fact that it's hit a Wakefield player doesn't matter. Doesn't have to hit the ground. It was in a forward motion. Well spotted by the official.
So for the first time, 3.5 minutes, Wakefield are going to have the ball, and they have now with Pearson, and he then feeds it on the inside. There's a great tackle by Gleeson on Neil Law. Gets to his feet. Davis was the dummy half, and this now is Jamie Field, and they surround him and bring him down. Referee says that's a forward pass. Players are tense. There is so much at stake here.
Plenty of emotion being shown there, but just a lack of concentration. The double run around from David March was deemed to be forward in the end. He's a fiery customer, is Mr. March, but that is a mistake.
And Sovatabua has swooped on it for Wakefield. Sovatabua, their leading try scorer, 14 tries this year. Ball inside to Mason, who will look to try and repair some of the damage after his high tackle. This is the first real opportunity. March gets the ball away to Davis. Davis slides the pass to Ryan Hudson, who had such a magnificent match last time we were here against Hull. This is Neil Law again. The defence of Huddersfield, though, is standing firm so far. Hudson down the short side. Hudson plunders a try again. That's the response that Wakefield wanted. And Ryan Hudson, an Andy Kelly capture from Huddersfield, comes up with a very important try for the Wildcats.
Well, as Eddie mentioned, he had a wow of the game last time he was on television. This is a mistake.
Hepburn O'Hare dropped it.
The full-back really made a meal of it, and they took full advantage. Got plenty of talent, this fella. The loose forward, Ryan Hudson, knows a way to the try line. That was poor work for the defence on that blind side. He took the option on the short and came up with a 4.
Well, this fellow loves the days that Sky Sports moves into town, because that's his 5th try for John Harbin's team in the glare of our cameras. 2 last time we were here against Hull, 2 the time before that also against Hull, and 1 here tonight against Huddersfield in this vital relegation battle. Martin Pearson then trying to shield his eyes from the sun that is setting behind the post that he's aiming at here. A difficult kick. A crucial kick, though. And he's just missed it. It's waved away by the touch judges. So Huddersfield cling on to the lead, but only just. 6-4.
You can see there Steve McNamara and all the defence on the open side going, but it was Steve McNamara that just stood rather than going forward. That was well spotted there by Hudson, took full advantage. What a try. They needed that desperately.
Ryan Hudson, man of the match in the match against Hull a fortnight ago, and a key member of the Wakefield side this year. Well, it's pretty tense out there on the field. I wonder what the atmosphere is like on the sidelines around the trainers' benches. Bill Arthur will tell us.
Tense isn't the word, Eddie. Before the game, both camps were trying to give an air of confidence, but you could see on the players' faces as they warmed up the tension that was building up inside them, and there has been tension. There is tension all around the place, including old hands like Neil Fox and Ian Brook there, former Wakefield favourites who I was speaking to before the game, who confessed that they too were feeling just a little bit twitchy as Keith Mason shows those twitches and comes up with the error, and that could be a costly one for Wakefield.
Well, I think it's badly done too. I think that prop forward Troy Stone definitely got the knee to that. Dislodged the ball. That really should have been a penalty for the Wildcats.
Two old-timers that we picked out in the stands, Ian Brook and Neil Fox, both have connections with Huddersfield as well, of course. And so it's just going to be one of those nights, I think. We just have to wait and see what happens here, what drama will unfold. And this is Hefin O'Hare. He got the ball away, but it was risky business, and Justin Brooker has pinched that for Wakefield. Hefin O'Hare, he's missed the last 12, and I must confess he's looking a little ring rusty at the minute.
Well, it's always going to be a problem when Huddersfield lost Paul Riley. He's had a good season as Riley, and as you mentioned, O'Hare, take him a while to settle in. But many mistakes will be coming, although it's a perfect day for rugby league football. Not like last night.
Here's Martin Pearson, bags of experience here as well, and he has lost it.
Well, he's claiming that perhaps it was knocked out by Ben Custo. Not too happy. Well, maybe Custo did drag the arm round, or is it Costin? It was Costin, not Custo.
Well, Martin Pearson, to be fair, has got to make sure that the ball is retained. But it's going to be one of those nights, Steve-o, when the referee's call or a drop ball or a high tackle could just change the course of history for either of these clubs.
Well, his nerves are plenty, and we expect it, don't we?
That's a lovely chip from Costin. It's an invitation for Frew to use his pace. Ellis is there. That's a great chase by Andrew Frew. Ellis tidied up at the back, but Frew has got pace. As I say, it's one of those nights.
Well, that's the reason why Stuart Cummins has been appointed for this game. It is building, isn't it? Oh, don't need much petrol on this one. The fire is well and truly alight before we even got to the kick-off time. But good work, and that is positive play by the Giants. You've got to think positive when you kick on the first chance of your set of 6, and that's what they did.
Big Troy Stone bends his back, picks it up, drives it forward. That's good defence, though, from Wakefield.
Well, not only an attacking ploy, the loose forward Ryan Hudson is leading the way in defence. Really did get the shoulder into there, into the big prop forward, Troy.
This is David Atkins in his debut season at Huddersfield, formerly with the Canberra Raiders, head-to-head. Not too many meetings over the years since 1973, but Wakefield with the advantage. And here at Bellevue, they hold the advantage as well. I bet they hope they carry that on tonight. But this is an opportunity here for O'Hare, and he was slapped to the ground unfairly by David March, yes.
Swinging arm as he cuts it back on the inside. No doubt about it that it went right into the neck area.
Quick tap has been taken. And another penalty because Wakefield were offside. They're inching closer to the line.
All the experience in the world there from Brandon Costin. Pressure for John Harvey and his men.
And referee also with a bit of experience.
Get on me, and you get on the your game. The way your team's going to benefit. Don't chip. Yeah, far as you want.
Well, Tony Smith with a little smile, because that's 2 penalties in quick succession. And they brought it back, and they take a tap. Costin pushes the ball inside to Richard Marshall. And there's Hudson and Jamie Field to bring him down. And Rowley waits for the runner. O'Hare is the man.
Great tackle from the hooker there, March. Had to be as well.
Rowley, quick play the ball by the Giants. Costin to Troy Stone. He's backing himself, the big fellow. He'll get to his feet. Plays the ball to Rowley. Back it goes to McNamara. McNamara was waiting for Costin to run and decided to take the tackle. Costin was coming back on the angle. Rowley there again. It goes back to Custo. Good defence on show here from the Wakefield Wildcats.
Now what will Brandon Costin come up with here? No, they've gone for the kick.
And it's McNamara. It comes out wide, looking for the tall man. He was taken out in the air, though. Surely
it's got to be a penalty.
Westwood.
Surely that's a penalty to the Wildcats.
Andrew Frew.
Okay, tackle him in there.
Yeah.
He contested the ball, and it is a penalty.
Good work from the touch judge.
Hang on, Martin, get him on side.
Giving the information to the man in the middle.
Andrew Frew went for the ball, but caught the man, so that's illegal when he was airborne.
Nice kick, though, from the second rower, Steve McNamara.
Well, Huddersfield have taken 9 points from their last 11 games, but defeat will consign them to the bottom place for a 4th year in a row. And this year, Widnes have won Super League status for 2002. So they won't get another lifeline if they finish bottom. They will join the Northern Four Premiership next year. It's such a huge game, this, for both these clubs. Two old and proud clubs full of tradition. Knock on.
We just seemed to lose it just at the last moment, did March. Yeah, there it is. Just trying to spin in the tackle, looking for support. But this has got a real cup tie feel about it, hasn't it?
Well, you mentioned cup ties. In the 60s, these two clubs were the real giants of the game, and older viewers will remember in 1962 they contested a Challenge Cup final and then a championship final, rather, within 7 days of each other. Both clubs winning one apiece. And that's good play, and here is Andrew Frew again. He's very quick, he's quite elusive, but not when there are 3 blue jerseys round him.
Good work from Martin Gleish in the centre there. Wonderful body language, just ripple it around and confuse the defence.
You just saw there Halifax 2 up in the capital against London. That match being played at the same time as this. We'll keep you posted throughout the night. It's 2-0 to Halifax here. It's 6-4 to the Giants, who are in possession again.
To be fair, the Giants getting over the advantage line. They're very quick at the play the ball area.
Costin now. Here's McNamara. Oh, big
great
hit.
tackle.
Great tackle by Pearson.
Well, McNamara looked up and to see what on earth had hit me.
Costo with a little dab, trying to turn the defence round. Brad Davis, though, sweeping up for Wakefield. O'Hare, well, got a semi-shot in.
Good work, though, by Brad Davis, the experience, anticipating, and again,
Costin this
Costin
time.
right over the top.
Well, they got away with the first, they couldn't get away with the second.
And thankfully, the official now has brought over Brandon Costin. And that's good refereeing, just to calm things down. Not for the faint-hearted, this game.
No, you just wonder what will happen, don't you, over the next 65 minutes or so. Here's Julian O'Neill. Julian O'Neill gets Wakefield over the halfway line. March at dummy half. The runner is Mason. Many big clubs eyeing Keith Mason. Had a wonderful season here. Only 19 years of age. This is Hudson, another excellent youngster, 21 years of age. Hudson plays the ball quickly to Davis, and Davis going for Sovatabua. That's a kind bounce.
Oh, that would have been,
nearly got it.
I think that would have been play on as well. I think the Huddersfield player actually went for the kick. It was McNamara, I feel, that actually went for that.
And Justin Brooker, who got a vital try and some big hits in defence against Salford here last month, was almost over for what would have been a telling try. Stanley Jean.
What a job has he done here for the Huddersfield Giants.
Well, it's his 12th game in a row since he arrived from Hull. Played various positions and he scored 7 tries, Stanley Jean.
Well, his first game, remember, they snatched a draw against London, which set them on their way for some hope.
Well, they didn't have a point, Huddersfield, when Stanley arrived. Now they've got 9.
40-20.
That's a great kick.
Will it bend? No. And just a little bit too long. Such an important facet in our game now. McNamara's got all the kicking skills in open space.
And he was with Wakefield, of course, last year. But had his best days at Bradford.
Right, tackle one, stand out. Here we go. Markers.
Now, the last time we saw Wakefield on television, they were using the ploy of kicking very early in the tackle count. And remember Brad Davis getting the boot away on often on the 3rd tackle. Will they do it yet again?
O'Neill to march the dummy half, and Davis out wide, and he finds Sovatabua, and Sovatabua chips over looking for Brooker, and that's going to be play on. Davis is following up.
Either way, I'll go for the screen on this one. Oh, it's play on.
Oh, that's a contentious call. That looked like a knock on the other way.
Somatabua's having a bit of a handbags, 6 paces. Well, he's claimed that Langley has knocked the ball backwards, I'm not so sure.
Neither am I.
But there was always going to be an element of doubt. Oh, going high yet again.
That's Gary Price.
This has got to be stopped quickly.
Hold, Gary.
And yet again, the experience from Stuart Cummings. Well, it's warfare out there at the moment. This is the incident where Langley was supposed to... Well, I agree with you.
And he will, definitely.
Well, he'd have to. But again, lack of understanding and keeping calm and tense moments. Not easy, of course, when you're a coach way down in the basement.
Nice, mate, second 10.
No, these are vital times for Tony Smith and John Harbin, who, I must say, between them have done a fine job for their respective clubs this year. Custo gets the ball away, or Wakefield charging up on the man in possession. The man in possession was Richard Marshall, who felt that. This now is Atkins.
Three, stand out, Ryan. Go on, Martin.
Paul Rowley. Custo on an angled run. Good ball to Brandon Costin. Oh, great run. Costin is over.
That'll be a try.
That's a sensational try from Brandon Costin. He's not given it yet. He wants to check whether there was a double movement, I think.
Let's look in back play.
Well, I think it
was David March.
I don't think he had a hand on it.
Held back. Did he leave a gap that he went through?
And was David March being held back in back play?
Well, it was a wonderful piece of skill back on the inside. They do the crisscross, and I think David March, well...
It wasn't, it was Ryan Hudson there who was held back.
Well, I think David March is the one that further in... Yeah, it is. Yeah, you're right.
It's Ryan Hudson here.
It is Hudson.
And I think, is it Langley, is it? No, it's Atkins.
Atkins definitely got it, but I don't think it got anywhere near. Inside pass there. It's a good angle run, though, from Costin. Certainly deserved a try.
There it is there. Yep. Just out the side of the screen on the left-hand side. Atkins on Hudson here. Now, it depends whether they adjust that.
Are they deeming it that he could have got anywhere near? Oh, this is a debatable one. But I'll go for N-O-T-R-Y. I mean, we see it so often that... but I think I'm going to go for... He'll disallow this one. I'm going to go for N-O-T-R-Y.
Let's see. All the players anxiously watch, and you're right. And no emotion on the face of Tony Smith. Of course, his brother's team, the Parramatta Eels, will be playing the New Zealand Warriors on Sky Sports in the morning, as the playoffs have got underway this weekend in Australia. How ironic that Brian Smith has the Parramatta Eels, the minor premiers, the top dogs after the weekly rounds in Australia. Brother Tony's over here with the team sitting at the bottom of the Super League. But I know they're on the phone constantly. In fact, they discussed the prospects for this game via the international telephone lines this morning, and both wishing each other the very best of fortune. 19 minutes gone. Huddersfield with a try, scrubbed off by the video ref.
Well, that was a costly tug, wasn't it, by the second rower, David Atkins. Well, you can see quite clearly that Hudson was held back.
This is Davis, just delayed, got the ball away and takes the return, flicks it wide to Sovatabua, and the big Fijian comes inside. He's such a difficult man to put down. It's a great run. Here now is Pearson. He looks inside and finds Gareth Ellis. And Custo had to be sharp with Rowley. Here's Sovatabua again. They're offside. They moved off the mark. Quick tap taken by March. Here is Davis. Davis wide, and it's Brooker. And Brooker's just short.
Great tackle there. Langley went low.
Oh, he's going without the ball.
That'll be a knock-on. Langley got to it. Certainly took the ball. It'll be head and feet.
No, it's a penalty. Penalty to Wakefield.
Obviously not standing square and interfering at the play of the ball. Desperation from Langley, and you can see that. You're not allowed to do that. Well, he's in everything, isn't he, at the moment, Chris Langley. They're bringing the ball back. Tension on the face of the coach. Have they got a set move?
5-4, plenty of penalties in the opening 20 minutes of this match. You would expect that, I suppose, as well. And this is a glorious opportunity for Wakefield. All the supporters behind those posts. This is March.
Keep your eye on the fullback, Neil Law.
It's with Davis, though, and he slides the kick in. Oh, that's far too strong. A wasted opportunity.
Well, it was early in the tackle count. I mentioned the fact that they often have done that this season, but generally it's been utilised with a just kick and chase situation. Normally we get a better kick from Davis than that. So the tension off just for the moment.
Here's Atkins, whose little tug on number 15 there in the blue. Ryan Hudson cost Huddersfield the try a few moments ago. Now Stanley Jean, oh, he just bounced Brad Davis out of the way, but Hudson and also Jamie Field in quickly. McNamara the dummy half. Troy Stone is the runner for Huddersfield. Does well to offload to Rowley. That's on the bounce to Costin. Costin gets the Giants to the halfway line.
Took it well. Good defence there from Mason Hatterby as well.
Shadows lengthening here at Bellevue as Gleeson takes the tackle from 3 Wakefield defenders.
Well, to be fair, both sides are getting their defensive line
Custo with a high
effectively. It's a high one too.
Right down the throat
Too long, though.
Of Neil Law.
No penalties.
Trying to use the sun there that's setting just behind us and into the eyes of the Wakefield fullback. Now here is Sovatabur again, getting more involved. 22 minutes gone, 6-4. Huddersfield just ahead. Lost the ball.
Oh, that is a bad mistake from the winger. Sally Sovatabur, well, just lost it. A little bit unkind, but you have to regain your feet first and then place the ball. He does it all in one motion. The official Stuart Cummings not allowing that.
So what have Huddersfield got here? Custo to Gleeson. Gleeson has got through outside him. Tried to get the ball away, but Gareth Ellis was quickly to him. With help from Davis, down he went. Through to Custo again. Could have been high by Gary Price. Now then through again. I think it might be the night, Steve-O, for your feigned one-pointers, you know.
I think you're right, Eddie.
There's Custo.
I must be unwell, you know. I'm agreeing with you far too often.
You haven't had a bang on the head, have you? This is Troy Stone. He gets the ball away, and that was a great tackle in the end. It had to be on David Lomax.
Good work from Ellis.
Rowley. Back it goes to Custo. It's wide to McNamara. McNamara funnels the kick through. It's picked up by Neil Law, and away they come.
Wonderful footwork there.
Good tackle in the end from Heffin O'Hare.
He's big in stature as Neil Law.
Don't think O'Hare, by the way, for Huddersfield, the number 5 playing the fullback today, has ever played fullback before. But score from London, it's 10-4 now to the Broncos over Halifax Blue Sox, midway through the half there. We've played just about 4 minutes more at Bellevue. 6-4. Desperate match for these two sides. March. Now then, great ball, Davis. Davis, little chip off the outside of the boot, races on. Davis gets hold of Chris Langley, and there's nowhere for Langley to go. Dropout coming up underneath the sticks.
Good build-up from Wakefield. I thought perhaps that Davis had taken the wrong option, but when you chase like that, that shows you the determination that is running through this side.
He's missed 12 this year, and it's no coincidence that they're back to winning ways with him back in the side. Brad Davis and Wakefield. Well, it's really, really tense. 6-4 to the Giants. Wonder what Phil Clark is making of it all. Did you bring the Valium with you, Phil?
Fantastic feeling down here sideline, and you can clearly see both sides fighting for their lives. In fact, it's quite interesting. These two sides perhaps have the almost the worst defence in the league, but the desperation on both sides has really kept the scoreline down. And it's not evident on television, but there is a strong wind behind the Huddersfield side. They've been unable to use it so far, and if Wakefield go in just 2 points behind, I think they'd be pretty happy at half-time.
Long way to go to half-time yet, though. Just short of a quarter of an hour. And there's Sovatabur. Sovatabur skipping through them and releasing the ball again to Ryan Hudson. This is now Brooker, but this defence that Phil Clark talking about is evident on both sides. Davis, long ball to Pearson. Pearson attacking them, gets the ball away to Ellis, and that was a great tackle in the end, and it had to be as well. But they're still not done. Pearson's bounced away from Rowley. Here's Ellis.
Oh, so close.
They went for the power play.
And it never came off. Good work, though, by Andrew Frew. The tackle earlier, he put his body on the line, and it denied that man the try that they were looking for. But that will lift their confidence.
And they're swarming into the tackle now, the ball carrier. Here is Stanley Jean. Just to emphasise the point that Phil made, Wakefield have scored fewer tries, 79, than any other team in the Super League. Huddersfield have conceded more tries, 156, than any other team in the Super League.
That's a wonderful kick. That'll just hang around in the in-goal area. Now then, what's the chase like? They're all around, and Neil Law can't get through.
Well, they got there eventually. It was a little laboured, I must say, but they put in such hard work in the opening 26.5 minutes here. Now, what a mistake.
A big mistake.
He's got it back as Atkins. Now then, can Huddersfield capitalise this time?
Well, Westwood not been able to hang on to that ball.
And there's a great shenanigans going on. It's March and Atkins, I think.
Right, Steve, let's calm down, stay away.
Referee.
Stay away.
What a devil of a job to... That wasn't a fight. That was...
Dave, go away.
And it might develop into a fight because...
Move back. Dave.
Pearson and company.
Dave Atkins.
Well, someone's on his way to the bin here.
Well, I think they'll both go.
You've got the ball.
Atkins had played the football and then went looking right in the face of David March, so I think we'll get two of them in.
Well, Atkins has gone.
Where you go? Go now.
Atkins is in the sin bin, and David March will
He's grabbed
follow
you.
him.
I've given the penalty. You've carried it on. All right, that would have all stopped. You'd have got the penalty. Would have carried on. All right, but you took it on, so you go for 10 as well. All right, the penalty's going that way. Yeah, he grabbed him. No, he grabbed him. That was the first offence.
And I think that Wakefield are going to get the penalty. They are.
Well, it's deemed that David Atkins has, having played the football, then went for David March, and well,
blood on the knuckles.
They both are going to get. That's a good sign, isn't it? I mean, it's not a good sign, but it's a good sign that it's hit the mark, perhaps.
Well, while all that was going on in centre field, Andrew Frew was being bundled over the line on this near side by Martin Pearson and company. So,
well, they don't call it sin bin for nothing. It's supposed to just calm things down, but I'm not so sure out there. I think it might go a little bit warmer than tepid. There's been some real bell ringers out there, hasn't there?
Yes, there has. This is Hudson. He gets the ball away. Oh, and it's flicked out of the back door by Gary Price, but Wakefield retain possession with Mason. Good tackle by Lomax, and Costin was in there as well. Davis over the top. Sobotabur is onside, but the ball will beat everybody. Langley quite happy to let it bounce and find touch.
Well, again, we see the ploy that the Wildcats often use, kicking on the fourth. Brad Davis, and it's not a bad ploy as well when you're facing the wind in the first half. He knows, especially, that in the second stanza he'll have every opportunity to have the assistance of this sort of a breezy wind, not as strong as what we witnessed last night.
Brad Davis, who put that kick in, had a little spell at Huddersfield earlier in his career, so there's a lot of inter-club rivalry in evidence here this evening. This is a good run, though. Jean has put the man through the gap. On the bounce to Frew it came from Thorman. Oh, what a hit! And it was an illegal one. Julian O'Neill and Ben Westwood.
Ooh, Westwood really went in with a haymaker. To be fair, Julian O'Neill went across the chest, I felt, but it was Westwood was the man that's going to be penalised. Again, lack of discipline, and it's cost Wakefield dearly throughout this game so far.
Costin, so important to them. Stanley Jean with a little bit of space. He's away from Brooker. Can't get away from Sovatabua, though.
Come on, fellas, get back on it.
A Fijian and a Papua New Guinean there, head-to-head. This is Steve Malloy. And the penalty count is rising.
2! Here we go, fellas. Yeah, Gary.
Rowley, McNamara, Costo.
Right, 3, stand up, Martin.
They're 8 metres away. Rowley again. McNamara. It goes wide to Andrew Frew. Can he get round the winger? No, he can't.
Again, good defence. Westwood going low. Will it be the kick? I feel it will be.
That's a great ball. It's Steve Malloy, who's got through the tackles and is over the line. Tony Smith sends down some more instructions. The Giant does a little dance of delight. And Steve Malloy, who missed last week, has come up with his second try of the year.
Well, I thought they'd go for the kick, and maybe Wakefield did as well. You can see they just hung back and they anticipated. It was a neat switch back on the inside from the prop forward Stone. And Malloy gleefully accepts it. But look for the hesitation. That was a neat offload back on the inside. He took it well. Is it all the experience in the world as this fella? Malloy's been around a while. And again, Wakefield have paid the price for indiscipline.
Well, he hasn't scored many tries in his career, as you can see, but the man who captained England a couple of years ago, Steve Malloy, has come up with a priceless 4, and it's been increased by the boot of Steve McNamara. 12-4, and a little bit of daylight, maybe a little bit too bright a daylight for Tony Smith.
Well, he's obviously pleased with that, but it will be thinking what might have been. Remember, the Costin try was disallowed because Hudson was held back by Atkins, and that really would have put cat amongst the pigeons in regards for the Wildcats to get back into the game.
Well, next week, after this little schmozzle here, oh, Malloy nearly makes a porridge of it, but after this here, Wakefield will travel to Salford and Huddersfield return to London. And at the moment, those matches will decide who goes down, but there's a long way to go yet in this one. And here's Stanley Jean. Oh, off the chest, and that's a mistake by Langley.
You really should have taken that. Pressure undoubtedly getting to all these players out there. Big question now, though, for John Harben. How on earth he keeps control, especially when he gets them in at half-time, is to try to just make them think positive, because irrespective of what happens today, Eddie, of course, next week's game, if they win that, they're going to be safe. But try to keep your mind off it. It's not going to be easy for the coach, Harben.
That was a mistake by Brooker on the first tackle after the scrum, and so the Giants have got it back with Malloy.
Oh, that really was a bad one. And the centre never really took control of that. Too many errors, too much lack of discipline. Good run from the hooker.
Rowley, terrific run. Supports outside him from Gleeson. He gets away from Ellis. Yes, he does. And Ellis in the end comes back and has a second snap with a bit of help from Jamie Field. But that's a great run from Rowley. It's put them in the ascendancy here. Malloy again. He gets the Giants to within about 3 metres of the line. Chris Thorman, the dummy half this time. Here is McNamara. Now it's with Costo. The trap is sprung by the Wakefield defence. That's the last one.
Will they go for the one-pointer?
Well, McNamara has it. They're running it. They're going wide. This is Costin. Costin's dabbed it forward, was taken out. No, he wasn't. Play on.
Was in a good position there, was Cummings, the official. Well, I'm not so sure that he wasn't taken away. Brandon Costin had a really long look there at the official, and I think he had every right to be here. Well, it looked to me there that Julian O'Neill definitely held on. The pressure is off.
Thanks, mate.
All over him.
Yes, untidy around the play of the ball, isn't it? Both sides trying to slow things down, obviously, so as the opposition doesn't get on a roll.
Ooh, that looked forward.
It did.
He got away with it.
Mason's in danger of losing this.
Here we go.
Held on to it well, no doubt about it.
Hey.
Just half a metre, and they've got away with it. They'll be desperate to score now.
Make the line, come on.
Gary Price plays the ball to Hudson. Price, who assists John Harbin with the coaching. That looked as though it drifted forward to Brooker, but this is Sovatabua. Sovatabua has got Heffin O'Hare ahead of him, waited for Brooker to come on the return, and then takes the return from Brooker again. They're trying desperately to keep this movement going, but why?
Well, why did he stop?
Well, I was going to say, why did Sovatabua not back himself? Here's Hudson. Back it comes, charging run from Martin, and
they've come up
Neil
with a
Law
mistake
has put
now.
it down.
Well, a golden opportunity has gone begging.
Stanley
And
Jean.
Sovatabua really should have put the foot on the pedal, got the full gas working, and gone for that line.
No penalties.
So here come Huddersfield again in the shape of Chris Langley.
One, Jules. Down. Hold, Paul's hold.
Rowley from dummy half. Stanley Jean hits out at pace.
Leave him free.
Rowley again. Here's Ben Custo. Custo to the halfway line for Huddersfield.
Well, I'm sure that Tony Smith, the Giants coach, would say, look, let's get a
Rowley.
great run from Rowley yet again. He'll be calm, that's back to 6, and he's play on.
Langley has hacked it forward. He's got his legs tangled up. He's going to bring it back for the knock-on.
He played the advantage there.
But Langley just couldn't entangle his legs, disentangle his legs. It was feet and everything was flying around the ball.
It certainly was, but again, we see the skills of Paul Rowley. They've been caught a few times in Wakefield in that first and second marker position. And that's where it was knocked down by Sovatabua. But Langley couldn't control it. Either way, it's Huddersfield that have the head and ball.
Right, here it is now. Let's go. Binding. Backwards, backwards.
And that ball's gone backwards, but that's great pressure. It was sensational pressure that from Willie Poaching, and he's off. And a good run and a good chase back. Costing could have been done for the flop. Here's Frank Martin. Ball out the back door to Poaching. Offside against Huddersfield this time.
Well, Tony Smith, the Giants coach, will be absolutely fuming over that.
Have a shot.
And they're going to go for the 2. I'm not so sure that I would. With barely 2 and a bit minutes left.
Well, I suppose it would put them back to within a converted try, but
This is a run,
from Poaching.
yeah, but Poaching, and a good tackle in the end from David Lomax. He got back to make sure that he brought the club captain down.
Stay behind, fellas.
They were all offside. They never went back the required 10. But you can see how the sun's going to be in the kicker's eyes, Martin Pearson, and I'm not so sure that I would have gone for this.
Well, he's not a bad kicker, isn't Martin Pearson? He said that his last try was 10 weeks ago, but the Welsh international for John Harbin, hoping to just get them back to a converted try away. And he's done that. It's 12-6, and we're close to half-time. The Wakefield supporters hope that maybe that will give them a little lifeline for the second half.
Well, I think Tony Smith will be quite happy that it only resulted in two points. It was a real mess-up at behind the base of the scrum. It should have been the Giants applying the pressure. And it's pretty warm work out there.
Well, both sides now back to the full complement of players. The 2 sin bin offenders, David March and David Atkins, they have returned to the fray. We've only got half a minute to go, though, in this first half. Huddersfield will hunt the mistake. Malloy with the tackle. It was on Jamie Field. This is Neil Law. 22-4, London ahead against Halifax at half-time. London, who will play Huddersfield at the McAlpine next weekend. Wakefield are at Salford.
Ooh, that looked high as well from Malloy.
They've got the penalty.
Leave the ball, Richard.
Well, there's had plenty of work to do, Stuart Cummings.
It's all right. Can't stop it, Willie.
And that was high.
You only get 3 seconds anyway.
And the ball was reefed away.
It goes in. You get a play afterwards.
Well, desperation time now for the Giants.
It's desperation time for Wakefield because the referee has just said he's looked at the clock and seen it's 0-0 on the big screen, so they get one play here.
Well, one tap and kick. Get it up in the air.
Wait.
Surely they'll hoist the ball. No, he wants it back.
Clock's still up, fellas. On the line.
Surely he wants it back, and he does. They will.
We'll wave time on.
They must hoist the bomb here from David,
Got
surely.
to, sure, yeah.
Well, Pearson then. There it is. The race is on.
Ooh, it's not a bad one either.
It's a cracker. Frew is under. Oh, Frew's dropped it. Penalty.
And he's
It's a
offside.
penalty to Huddersfield.
He was in front, and no, he was pushing.
Then Westwood adjudged to have pushed.
Well, it was a
Andrew
great
Frew.
high. It was a great high kick from Martin Pearson. Applied the pressure.
Push him in there, Willie. No debate. Push him in there. Come on, out of the way. There we go.
Well, he was onside, Westwood, but it's here where he pushes him in the air.
Yeah, you're not allowed to touch a man then who's jumping and applying to try to get the ball. So this will be up the jumper time, and we'll go to the break.
Oh, that ball came free.
He'll be a knock on anyway.
No, he said he'd be a knock on anyway.
That'll be the finish.
Tony Smith makes his way to the dugout, from the dugout to the dressing rooms, as does John Harbin.